You know that old saying, where there's a will, there's a way? We hear it all the time. But what if it's more than just a nice little proverb? What if it's like a fundamental law of how reality actually works? Well, today, we're going deep on the incredible power of your mind to literally shape the world around you.
So let's just kick things off with a big, kind of provocative question. Can your thoughts, the stuff happening completely inside your own head, can they actually make you physically sick? And on the flip side, can they make you well? Turns out the connection between your mind and your body is way more direct and way more powerful than you probably think. All right, to really get this, you have to start by thinking of the mind as the ultimate control center for the body. It's like the engine that drives the whole machine. Our mind is directing the entire operation, a lot of the time in ways we don't even consciously notice. Now, I've got a fascinating story for you that just perfectly illustrates this whole idea. It's about a group of students who, really wanted a few days off from school. So they came up with this very clever and, let's be honest, kind of mischievous plan that was all centered on their unsuspecting schoolmaster. Okay, so picture this. The teacher shows up at school, feeling totally fine, 100% normal. The first student comes up to him, puts on a really concerned face and says, "Sir, you look really pale today. Are you feeling okay?" That was it, the first little seed of doubt. The teacher's a bit surprised, but, he just brushes it off. But then, a few minutes later, a second student comes up, and this one says, "Sir, your breathing seems a little fast. It's almost like you have a fever." Okay, now the teacher starts to wonder, could he actually be getting sick and just not realize it? That initial suggestion is starting to get reinforced. And then the whole plan kicks into high gear. The rest of the students start chiming in, one after another, all talking about how concerned they are for his health. One of them even brings him a mirror and says, "Look, sir, you can see for yourself how sick you look." Now he's faced with this overwhelming consensus, and his own belief about his health starts to totally shift. And get this is the incredible part. Within a really short amount of time, the schoolmaster actually developed a real, measurable fever. His body literally created a physical illness based purely on the power of suggestion and his own belief. He ended up canceling classes, went straight home, and, well, the students got their holiday. And look, this isn't just some weird one-off story. We see this powerful mind-body connection playing out all the time. Think about it. Real fear can literally make the color drain from your face. Intense anger can make your eyes go red. In a moment of pure excitement, you can do amazing things and feel zero fatigue. And sadly, really devastating news can make a perfectly healthy person physically sick. Our mind is constantly shaping our physical reality. So, if the mind can literally create a physical reality like a fever inside one person's body, what happens when you take that same power and aim it outwards, at the world? Well, that brings us to our next section, where we're going to explore how this very same principle, willpower, has literally been used to shape the course of human history. When you look back at some of history's most influential figures, you start to see this common thread. They weren't just products of their environment or their circumstances. Not at all. Instead, their single most defining trait was an incredibly strong will, a kind of power that allowed them to bend circumstances to fit their vision. Let's just take Napoleon Bonaparte as a perfect example. This guy wasn't born into wealth or power. He came from a poor family. He didn't have any special physical advantages. But through just sheer, focused determination, he achieved things that people who had every single advantage could only ever dream of. His will was his greatest weapon. This all sounds amazing, right? But how does it actually work? How can a thought, a desire, a will that's just inside your head actually create a way out here in the real world? Well, the source material offers a really fascinating explanation for this.
The source explains this using a principle of attraction, and the analogy it uses is just brilliant. Think about how a gold mine forms in the earth. You've got these tiny, microscopic atoms of gold scattered everywhere. But when a few of them happen to cluster together, their magnetic force starts pulling in other gold atoms. And as that cluster gets bigger, its attractive power gets stronger and stronger, pulling in more and more, until eventually you've got this massive vein of gold. The suggestion is that our thoughts work in the exact same way, attracting circumstances that are vibrating on the same frequency.
To put it really simply, as the mind, so the situation. Your dominant thoughts basically create a kind of magnetic field around you. So, a person who's always thinking about snakes, for example, just seems to find them everywhere. A person with a thief's mindset naturally finds themselves in the company of other thieves. And a saintly person finds themselves surrounded by other saints. Our internal world attracts its external match.
And that brings us to what is probably the most important question of all. It's the one I'm sure you're asking yourself right now. If this is all true, why isn't everyone just living their absolute dream life? Yeah, let's tackle that one head on.
So yeah, if all we have to do is want something for it to happen, why doesn't everyone get what they want? I mean, who doesn't want to be healthy and wealthy and happy? Well, the key, according to this source, is in understanding the absolutely crucial difference between truly willing something and just, wishing for it. This slide just lays it out so perfectly. There is a huge difference between what the text calls true will and what it calls daydreaming. True will is focused, it's passionate, it's decisive, and, this is the big one, it's completely free of any doubt. Daydreaming, on the other hand, well, it's wavering. One minute you want a mansion, the next minute you want to be an astronaut. It's full of doubt, it lacks any real conviction, it's just immature.
So here's the crucial takeaway. True willpower isn't just a casual, fleeting wish. It's that moment when every single thought, all of your mental energy, becomes totally laser-focused on one single goal. There's no room for maybe, or what if, or I hope. There is only the unwavering, absolute certainty that it will happen.
And that brings us right back to Napoleon, doesn't it? He understood this principle better than almost anyone. And his famous quote really says it all. The word impossible is found only in the dictionary of fools. For a mind that has that true, focused will, the very concept of impossibility it ceases to exist.
And to leave you with one final, incredibly powerful thought. The Bhagavad Gita puts this in the starkest terms possible. The one who doubts perishes. It suggests that the single greatest obstacle in our path isn't the world outside, it's our own internal doubt. So the real question isn't just what you want, it's how firmly, how completely, and how absolutely doubtlessly you're willing to will it into existence.